I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back.
From Yokohama, Japan, this is Eric Jones. Welcome to EJ's Voicecast, my journey to becoming a professional voiceover artist. I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope you listen to many, many more. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I was looking around for some Audacity videos so I could do some learning and expand my knowledge on how to use Audacity properly for my podcasting and for voiceover stuff. And I found one by Mike Adams on Udemy called Audacity Bootcamp. It cost about $12, so not expensive at all. And what you get out of it is very good. The course is quite good. It gave me a lot of pointers on how to use templates, which is an easy way to get started because you have your intro, outro music. You may want to have an intro, outro speech. And then you just put your track of podcast data, your actual podcast in there. You never have to make changes to the first section, only the podcast portion. Makes life easier. So I changed my current templates and it seems to be working well. And Mike Adams does a very good job of passing on the information in a detailed way without getting overly technical, like really deep into the minutia. He explains the why behind using a particular function, but he doesn't go, you're not going to get a math class, put it that way. So some of the examples he provides are relevant for folks doing podcasts. Some of what is taught is like loudness functions, normalization of your track, which can be handled by your host provider. If they offer that service for a fee, you upload your podcast to them and run it through their process, and then it comes out the other end pristine. But there's still some functions that you probably need to do yourself. In my case, Buzzsprout has this magic mastering tool. You can sign up for it. Once you pop your podcast in, it's run through that. It's using some of the functionalities that Mike Adams goes over, and it's using at least one of the applications that he uses on his podcast. So that's what I use. I still have to remove all the ums, ers, and other sounds that I don't want in there. But hey, it takes a little bit of the back end work off of my shoulders. Since I'm doing this by myself, I don't have an editor, producer, or anybody to do that for me. So on the main Audacity menu to the right of the selection icon, which looks like a capital I or Roman numeral 1, you have this envelope tool. So if you have music on your podcast and you have one song that you use for both intro and outro, this can come in handy. So instead of cutting and fiddling around with fade-ins and fade-outs on the track, you can leave the track as is. You can use the envelope tool to actually shrink down or fade the intro portion in before you start speaking, and then fade out on the back end. So you fade out the speech back into the music. As he used it, it works well, but because I use two different songs for my intro and outro, it's not going to work for me. Some other options that can save time are the metadata functions. Metadata is data about data, or those things that make up your data. You can put that in yourself, or in my case, a lot of that stuff is put in by my host. Date, time of your podcast, all that stuff is there. So when somebody gets it, they download it, they can easily find more information out on your podcast just by looking at it. So you don't have to type everything in. You can also set up, customize, so that when you create a track, some of that information is in there and you can do it yourself. There's that ability within Audacity. Like I said, luckily, my host provider, Buzzsprout, does that for me. Macros are a good thing. He teaches you about macros. I use them at work from time to time, so I'm familiar with them. So with the macro, you take time to build the macro to perform several functions you want done on a regular basis. And you always do them this way. You attach that macro to a key combination, and it may be Shift F2 or something like that, or whatever helps you equate what you're doing so you remember it. And it'll run it, and then you just move on to the next thing that particular portion is done. So it's a great way to apply certain effects to every podcast that you're doing, or just every recording. I assign special keys to do certain things. So if I want to dig into a track and I want to expand it, that's my I key. If I want to go back to the size that I had it before, I use the O key. So you move in, you move out, zoom in, zoom out. So you can repurpose other keys that have already been set up to do certain functions. You can repurpose those to do something else if that particular key is something you really need, so you can remember how to do something. Instead of it opening another window, you can set it to do something else. So with my host, I mentioned there magic mastering. Some of the things that Mike Adams talks about is setting your loudness and your normalization, amplifying your sound, doing various cleanups. A lot of that stuff is done through different tools. You can purchase those tools and install them, or hopefully your host provides those. That's something that crossed over into Ali Abdaal, who I've mentioned on this podcast before, who really pushes you to try and get a team to help you out on your YouTube side, somebody to do the editing and somebody to do other portions to take some of the weight off your shoulders. So you're not the one doing every single thing, and it takes longer to get your podcast out there to finish your completed work. Very understandable. But if you're just starting out, you don't really have the money to get somebody to do this for you. I don't know how much they charge. I have not looked into it, but it's something that you kind of want to weigh out. Is it worth the time for me to do this myself, or is my time pretty valuable? So therefore I will pay somebody to take this task on and help me out. Yeah, up to you. So I'm moving forward with this template. That's what I'm going off of right now. I did one test. The sound was terrible. I have to go back and revisit it. I probably did something a little too much on the amplification or on the suppression, because I've got some background noises in there I heard. As always, feedback and subscriptions are always welcome. Highly encouraged. The link is at the bottom of the show notes, in case you're looking at those, posted the transcripts. If you have advice or suggestions, please share. Thank you for joining me on EJ's Voicecast. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Let's go. Hey. Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name. Oh, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, oh. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be? And do you believe we could do anything?